Welcome to the Lean Solutions Podcast, where we discuss business solutions to help listeners develop and implement action plans for true lean process improvement. I am your host, Patrick Adams. Hello and welcome to the Lean Solutions Podcast. My guest today is Tom Passaro. Tom is the president and co-founder of Innovative Power Products, which is located in Long Island, New York. Beautiful area, I have to say, by the way. He has been an entrepreneur for over 35 years in the RF and microwave industry. Tom and his team embarked on their lean journey about 2 years ago. So I'm super excited just to kind of hear from Tom a little bit about their journey, some of the challenges, maybe some of the opportunities to celebrate. So Tom, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Patrick. I really appreciate you inviting us.
Absolutely. I'm excited to hear a little bit more about what you guys are doing at Innovative Power Products. And for those that are listening in that have no idea what the RF and microwave industry is, or maybe have never heard of Innovative Power Products, can you tell us just maybe a little bit about your company?
Sure. Innovative Power Products, we design and manufacture couplers, resistors, termination, things that are used in wireless communication equipment. So we're in a fair amount of military programs, commercial applications, emergency services. Our products are in MRI equipment. And basically the products take a signal, divide it, and we use transistors or other power modules to build more power. And then our products will recombine it and then monitor signals out to antennas or radars or of that sort.
Super interesting stuff, and I've personally been on site at your facility, and some pretty amazing technology that you guys are working in. How did all of this start? I mentioned earlier when I introduced you that you are an entrepreneur. You have been for over 35 years. How long has Innovative Power Products been around, and what did that look like as far as how it started, or where the idea came from, how you got involved in all of this?
Yeah, originally back when my partner TJ Dowling and myself, we've been partners since 2005, and we were partners in our first company together. TJ's an engineer designing the circuits, and my role is more overseeing operations, finance, costing, sales. And there was a need for products, and TJ knew how to design them, and we started making them and started selling them and became popular. We have hundreds of customers around the world, and I feel we've built a nice reputation in the industry, and we've been a great combo together.
That's great. And so people are probably, you explained a little bit about the products that you offer, but there are some people probably who are maybe not familiar with the RF or microwave industry. Are we talking about like these, are they massive, these massive pieces of material and different things put together, or are we talking little tiny components that go into, what's the end product? Tell us a little bit about the products that you guys provide.
It's a combination. We make very small products that go into man-pack radios, and those are used by soldiers around the world. Other things will go into vehicles which have more power and can transmit further signals. And then you go into very high power things, MRI equipment. So, the higher the power, the more the slices that the medical sector can see more of what's going on. Okay. And then to the point where you're transmitting in radio stations, thousands of kilowatts or thousands of watts of power that go out.
Very nice. So if we were to take like let's just say, one of your top running products, what would be the, maybe the high level process steps that would go through from the point of like you receiving in some material or components? Are you guys a complete assembly shop? Do you do, quality checks? Like what would it look like if we walked through the value stream at every process along the way? What can you give us kind of a general understanding of what the flow through your facility looks like?
Sure. We set up our manufacturing. Well, let me back it up a little bit and say we have 6 different product lines, and each one goes through its own cell. Okay, so that was our way of getting things to flow better through manufacturing. Is instead of them going through a same process, we divided them out and specialized in that process for it. So the product will flow through from assembly to test, and then through QA, sometimes back through test if value add was done after that, and then to the customer and out the door. We check 100% of the products, and very happy with our return rate over the last few years. Has just been tremendous.
Very nice. So who would be like your ideal customer if someone was out there listening in and they were like, this sounds interesting, seems like it might be in our wheelhouse, like what would your ideal customer look like?
They range. The tier ones out there are the larger OEMs for the Department of Defense, DoD. And then there are people that supply to them. I really don't want to mention names of customers. Okay. So, but it rolls up that ladder. There's considered tier 1, 2, and 3, and they kind of all go up to the Department of Defense or MRI equipment that are used in large corporations.
Absolutely. Okay, good. So now we're kind of level set on your company and what you guys do and just kind of the process flow. So now let's talk about your lean journey. And in the bio, when I introduced you, we talked about the fact that you embarked on your lean journey approximately 2 years ago. What was where did you hear about lean, or what was your introduction to lean? Why did you guys decide to embark on your own lean journey?
I always felt like lean was just a word that was kind of thrown around, we're doing lean because they did something, and I actually, in the beginning, thought we were doing lean because we had cells set up, and it was like flowing better. And it was like, okay, we've leaned the manufacturer now. We have products flowing. But I was very wrong. The more I learned from it, it was clear that there was so much more going on. And so we looked into it further because we would go through these spikes in sales. And every time we went through a spike, our on-time deliveries would plummet, and then we'd rebuild out of it. And it was a cycle that we couldn't get out of. And it kind of said that systems needed to change. So I started listening, to podcasts, reading books, things about it. And honestly, it's pretty confusing when you're just thrown in there and you start looking at all the tools that are available. And what do you use for different applications? What do you use to get people interested, right? It's very difficult to change the way things are going. So when you embark on something like this, it is tremendous effort to get everybody going in the same direction, to get them believing in the system, to following you, as most typically feel, okay, we'll ride this for a little while, it'll change, and we'll go back to the old way we did things and everyone will be happy. But so you need that consistency as we were doing it, and it really changed the way we are doing things. There's a calmness in here. The on-time deliveries for the last 3 quarters have fluctuated about 3%, and we're right at goal. So I feel that we're building stability in the system. Sure.
And it's been 2 years, and I know because I've worked with you personally over the last few years, that you would have liked for things to happen like fairly quickly. I mean, when we first started talking, you were like, we're looking to make some significant changes pretty quickly. How's that experience been? Did it all happen overnight? Would that have been the right approach if it did? What do you think?
It doesn't happen overnight. That's number one. Changing the culture, changing systems, changing philosophies, changing habits. all of that takes time. And, you hear so many quotes along the way about with processes, you go quickly, with people, you go slowly. And it honestly is the case. And, even with the guidance and coaching, right? As coaches, you probably want to move it along to so that there's some, I don't know, how do you say, the companies are getting the benefit from using a coach, but it still takes time. It just still takes time. You have to assess where each person is at, and you don't want to leave anybody behind. So you slow the pace and let everybody start gathering more momentum behind them.
Sure.
But
Now, go ahead.
no, it was tremendous. The coaching is undoubtedly needed, with it.
Yeah. And you're the president of Innovative Power Products, co-founder. You're obviously, one of the executive leaders at the organization. You mentioned TJ being another. What do you feel like has been the benefit of having executive leadership involvement, in your lean journey? And what, I guess, let our listeners know what has been involvement from the executive level, and then what have the benefits of that been?
So there has been from the top. We've been interested in day one. TJ shared the sentiment that it's not easy to go through these cycles that we were going through. And the benefit is absolutely taking one level out of this, right? If you're in an organization and you're trying to get top management to change and they don't want to change or support you, that makes it harder, and it's already hard enough. So having us on board, and there to support and telling everybody this is the direction we want to take, just eliminates one of the, obstacles, I will say.
Sure. And I know you've had, many challenges over the last few years. You mentioned obstacles. What have some of those challenges been that you've had, being very early on your lean journey?
Being patient on my behalf, people, I'll say I was a little bit ahead of the curve because I was doing the reading, I was doing the research, I was trying to find it. So having people catch up, and that's really where the coaching comes in, because as a coach, you know how to teach it. You know how to get people involved, which is instrumental in getting momentum going in that direction. So that was probably one of the biggest challenges. And all this takes time. One of the foundations of it is you're learning along the way. You're not just doing, you're learning. So you need to give people time to learn. And that's what they've been doing.
Absolutely. A couple, good challenges that I think a lot of people listening probably have had as well. And just for those that are listening in that are maybe at the executive level within their organization, or, some type of a management position, I mean, what would your advice be to someone who is looking at lean and going, this looks like something that could benefit my company, as a new way of doing things? What kind of advice would you give based on some of those challenges that you've had? And maybe just kind of, if you could go back, what would you say to your earlier self? Maybe that would be a better way to present the question.
So it's absolutely worth the effort. Okay. The atmosphere in the company is far different than where it was. And I often walk around and say, we look like we have no work in the place because all the whip is just like disappeared. The products flow through nicely. There's not the stress in the organization. But going back on it, the most beneficial thing that we've seen has been the Gemba walks, right? Getting Gemba walks out early, and building the action items from that has been tremendous. Each week we have 2 teams of 3. There's 13 people on the whole team. They're all now yellow belts, and they have made an impact by going around and actually not just seeing what's wrong, but fixing what's wrong. So we've gotten buy-in from the people as well. Every employee of the organization has seen some change happen in their area, so they're behind it as well.
Hey everybody, this is Patrick. So sorry to interrupt this episode of the Lean Solutions podcast, but I have an important question. Are you tired of the old ways of doing business? Feeling overwhelmed by inefficiencies and wasted resources? It's time to transform your approach and embrace the power of lean methodology. Welcome to our revolutionary Lean Solutions Academy with courses on lean methodology. Whether you're a seasoned executive or just starting out, our courses are designed to equip you with the knowledge and skills that you need to streamline your operations and maximize your success. Our courses are packed with actionable strategies and real-world examples to help you apply lean principles to your own business. You'll learn how to optimize your workflows, reduce lead times, and deliver value to your customers more efficiently. From value stream mapping to 5S methodology, Six Sigma courses, Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt, Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, we cover all the essential tools and techniques used in Lean. You'll gain a deep understanding of waste identification, continuous improvement, and problem-solving methodologies. Our online platform allows you the flexibility to learn at your own pace from anywhere in the world. With high-quality video lessons, interactive quizzes, and downloadable resources, you'll have everything that you need to succeed. By enrolling in our Lean courses, you gain a competitive edge, increasing your operational efficiency and unlocking your business's true potential. Join the ranks of successful change agents who have embraced Lean and revolutionized their organizations. Enroll today and you'll get $100 off your first course, which practically pays for any of our e-learning courses. We want to make it so easy for you to jumpstart your Lean journey. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Visit our website now and claim your discount at www.findleansolutions.com/academy. Now, back to the show. Oh, that's amazing. What's your process for your Gemba walks? How and I guess, has it changed since you started? Like, did you make adjustments to how you were doing Gemba walks, and what does it look like to have Gemba walks at Innovative Power Products?
So it has changed. In the beginning, of course, you're cumbersome. You're not really, you don't know what you're really doing. You're going through the motions. You got a little checklist. You're going to look at an operation. You're looking at the work instructions and how they're performing the processes. And then you come back, you write up some action items, and we delegate them out. We have a continuous improvement meeting, which we meet every other week, and we would log them in there. But since then, we've been able to do it through software. Mike is on board. He's a programmer for our company, and he has written software that allows us now to trigger the meeting right through it. And then after we do the Gemba walk, we go back to the conference room as a team. We put in the action items into the software, and then they automatically show up as on people's to-do. Yeah. So whoever was getting that action would be there, and then somebody else has to sign on it.
Sure.
Every month I send out a Gemba walk schedule, right? We do it 2 a week as mentioned, and every other week somebody will do a Gemba walk.
And it's nice that you have that structured schedule in place, and obviously you have a very good system at documenting, some of the outcomes from those walks. And there's, as some of the listeners might know, there's many different types of Gemba walks. So for you guys, just getting the leadership out there, not just leadership. I know you're doing it with the whole team, but being able to go out there and if you see something that can be fixed when you're out there, obviously you're doing that. But then some of those things that are going to take a little bit more effort outside of these Gemba walks, you're logging those into the system. They're getting assigned to someone, and then there's some follow-up that's happening there. So, with that, what kind of results are you seeing from having this structured Gemba walk system that you've put in place for your team?
We have seen, as you mentioned, small things to very large things, where we've, found doing CFCs and logging lot numbers for traceability and everything as being cumbersome is now being done through software. And if a part is going on tape and reel, then we enter it once and all those numbers transfer right over to CFCs and other things. So little things, larger things like that are taking place. And, one of the things that sold me on it is a quick story on how we were scanning in jobs to become paperless in the company. And what we found is after we finished the job, we put them in a pile. The pile would move up front. The person would then take out the staples and scan it in, and then we put them in a box, and that would be there until you had 4 or 5 boxes, and then you throw them in the car and bring them to a shredder and pay $50 to shred them. And that was the old system. We all got together and we talked about, okay, what's the biggest problem that is happening here, right? It was taking the staples out, right? That was the biggest problem. People would open up the job, staple things in different places, so it was hard to scan. So we removed staples, went with a clip on it. And, now we scan it in and final QA, goes back to the managers, and everything is shredded that day and, discarded. So, that all came about from just monitoring and watching the systems.
That was an observation that was made. And I think probably the most amazing thing that as I'm hearing you talk, Tom, is, I'm talking to the president of a large company, a large global company. And you're talking about going out to the Gemba with your team and observing this type of thing. And you're seeing that it's causing a problem for them to remove staples. And you guys, you took the initiative to help remove some roadblocks and be part of that change. And I just think, what an amazing way to lead from the front, right? To show people that being at the Gemba is important for everyone in the organization, as well as that's what you're there for, is to help remove roadblocks, to help provide guidance for some of these issues and struggles and problems that your team's having. I just think it's amazing. But I also know too that you, not only are you involved in these Gemba walks, I've seen your leader standard work. You personally have leader standard work, as well as the rest of your leadership team and management team follows leader standard work. And you guys are doing a ton of other things as part of that. But what have the results been in the last 2 years? I think you mentioned a little bit earlier about some of the bullwhip effect of ordering and sales ups and downs and what that's done, or what that did do to you guys in the past. What have been some of the other results as you have applied lean, not just in your assembly areas, but also throughout the rest of your organization and purchasing and, in sales? What other benefits have you seen from that?
There's been I don't know, where do you pick it up? It's like simple things like modifying a plate on where we put eyelets into our products. By them being level at the time of the operation, it reduced rework. I can't even tell you how much. It's just all little things make such a large impact. Using packaging, right? Products going through the floor would be put in boxes, and if the box was moved too quickly, the parts would be moved around. So in one of the Gemba walks, we noticed all this, and then we said, okay, let's use the packaging that we use for our customers and bring them through the floor that way, so they don't get damaged anymore. It makes it easier for QA to handle, for test everybody. It goes out of one package back into the next, and goes through the production floor so much better. That there's less handling of the products. Through sales now, we developed a ticketing system. So now everything, every customer inquiry that comes in will get a ticket. It'll go through engineering, through drafting. We can monitor it all the time. We can see where it is, and we can respond to the customer better. We've also started adding that ticket to the first response to the customer. So if they have a question, they can respond back and we'll know it's ticket 291 or whatever it may be. And then we'll have all the information right in front of us, because every time somebody touches it, it logs in the history of it, which is great.
That's amazing. And obviously, those are just a few examples of where you've identified a problem and it came up with a solution that has provided, some pretty exciting results for your company. What about the intangibles? I mean, what has this done for your team, for the level of engagement from the team members, throughout your organization? What has embarking on this journey and you mentioned learning earlier, and that it's a continuous learning process. I mean, what have those things done for your team?
Well, the atmosphere is absolutely better. I've said that. The way we interact with one another is better. It's funny, prior to this, you barely had time to spend with people, and that's not the right way to manage, but you didn't have time. And now, 5 hours a week are blocked to spend an hour with each manager who reports to me. They're spending time with the people that report to them, and so on and so forth. So it's going down through the organization, and everybody is focused on helping the next person do what they need to do, back about 6 months ago, the next thing to look at was, okay, we are meeting, but our agenda's good. So let's look at the agenda we have for the meeting and see if we can make that more effective as well. So, that's part of the continuous improvement, right? You look at things, you see how it's going every quarter. We tend to look at it again. It's a good milestone to say, okay, this is the history. This is how we're doing. Now, what do we need to change? So the agenda helps us do that. If you have a good agenda for your meeting, it helps you get to know if it's working.
Absolutely. So, Tom, what would you say do you have to celebrate? I mean, what would you say, currently after 2 years of being on your lean journey, what would you say are some of the highlights, the things that you would say, let's celebrate this?
Well, definitely celebrating that the on-time deliveries have stabilized. The fallout is down, which are the two areas that we started out to focus on. But the main thing is that everybody is learning. Everybody is feeling appreciated. At least I believe they are. It seems to be the census that we went down a good path, and it's helped the organization. We never hold a meeting on a Friday. That was the end of the month, right? Because everybody's scurrying around trying to meet the month, and it's like pretty funny now because we don't look at that. We look at everything is flowing through the company on a regular basis, and products are going through the operations. They have work instructions for everything now, and it's just made a tremendous difference. I love how people are believing in themselves more. That to me is the real win, because that momentum is starting to carry on their own now. So 2 years in, it seems like there's a brighter future, and less having to push. The momentum will carry itself.
What would you say is next for you on your lean journey? Obviously, you and I both know that there's no end to your journey.
Right.
But what's next? Where are you guys going next?
What I'm trying to work on a little bit more is getting everybody to think of reflecting, right? It's easier said than done. Do you really stop and pause? Is it on your leaded standard work to reflect and see what we were doing, how we can do it better, and as you're going forward? So that's kind of where we're heading, and I think it will go a long way.
Absolutely. And you involve your whole team in that, right? I mean, you're leader standard work for you guys has become, you talked about time blocking and certain things that are important to your team. You've established or you've helped kind of lay the direction for the team, and but having them be involved in this entire process from the beginning, I think, has been such an important piece for you guys. And so when it comes to reflection and learning and kind of taking those next steps, or looking at where you've gone and what the next steps are for you guys, do you see that continuing to involve the entire team, or what do you see that involvement being from the team going forward?
I absolutely see it. We have some great players here. You're fortunate, Rich, Dan, Janice, Theo's on board now. We have a great team. And I'm really looking forward to them continuing to grow and go into the next phases of things, really looking at tack times, looking at other things. What products can we put into one-piece flow, even though we batch because we use robots and pick-and-place machines and things. But I am, I love the fact that they've picked up kata, that's been a big piece of this, and just stick with works for us. The Gemba walks work, the Kaizens work. One of the things that you taught us is to have a document overseeing the whole lean plan, the lean journey in a sense. And that was tremendous because it was able to put into a format. And now because it's a format, that's our new standard, right? So
it becomes your management system. Right.
Yep.
But I will say, you guys are doing some pretty amazing things, Tom. I mean, from daily Kaizen to Kaizen events to, from kata thinking and you are doing active root cause analysis, driving to the root cause, and really solving your problems at the root. And you're seeing some pretty amazing results from that. So hats off to you guys and your team and the amazing work that you guys are doing. I'm so happy that you were able to come on to the podcast today. Being that you're early on your lean journey, there's so many people out there, so many listeners that, haven't, they might even be hearing the word lean for the first time right now. And so to hear from someone like you that is early on your lean journey, that sees the benefits, you're working through the challenges. I mean, you're literally in the trenches, working at this day in and day out, and you guys are doing some pretty amazing things. So again, hats off to you guys and the work that you guys are doing at Innovative Power Products. Tom, if there's anyone out there that wants to ask you another question or interested in maybe, the work that you guys do at Innovative Power Products, where would they go to find you or to get a hold of you?
They can get me on LinkedIn. I'm not on there that often. Probably better is my email address. And as I've heard your shows before, you can put that in the notes.
You got it.
Passaro at innovativepp.com. But it's the one piece to advice is it's well worth it. It's not easy to get going, but once that momentum starts and people see the changes, it's been tremendous for us, and just keep it light. We do try and have a lot of fun here when we're doing it. Usually at each other's expense, but it keeps it light and just makes it worthwhile, because it can all be too serious either,
Absolutely. All right. Well, we will definitely throw your email into the show notes, Tom, and looking forward to getting back out there again and just continuing to follow up on your progression as an organization. Love the work that you guys are doing. And maybe next time we're out there, we'll get, I know you have to be careful about stuff that you can share picture wise and video wise, but it'd be nice for people to see a little bit of some of the visual stuff that you guys are doing too. Pretty good stuff. So
great.
Keep up the good work. And thanks again for being on the show.
Patrick, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Lean Solutions Podcast. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe. This way you'll get updates as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please give us a review. Thank you so much.